a little Friday night chit chat. Um, Over the last 2 weeks, I've been covering the Gretchen Ryan case and reading over her affidavit. I thought I could do this maybe into 3 to 5 part series, and holy cow, I was wrong. It's taken me 2 weeks, and I'm still not done with it. I am beyond blown away. I read it 2, 3 times before I even started reading it to you guys, and then I started reading it to you guys, and I'm blown away. I'm beyond blown away. Gretchen Ryan is the one who is responsible for her daughter's death. I am going to go ahead and use Grace Ryan's name in this video. I do not use her name in the affidavit. She is the victim of this. The family and friends of Grace Ryan are the victims as well, first and foremost. The only person who's going to be held accountable and is being held accountable is Gretchen Ryan. She is not even a half a mile away from me, sitting in Jefferson County Jail on second-degree murder charges for her daughter. So let me tell you how I stumbled upon this case. I usually do the back end of research for content creators and such. I'll give them timelines, research to make their own content. I do not like making content. I don't like being on camera. It's weird to me. I am obviously not the best on camera, as we've seen in my whole trying to launch myself. So I thought I was going to step into this covering Letitia Stout, which I'm totally getting into coming up this following week, separate thing. And on June 3rd, I read this article that came across on the Denver Post about a 16-year-old who died from an alcohol-related death due to her mother. And it was in Arvada, the town over from me, and I was like, holy shit. So I read this article, and my heart was broken. I don't even know how to explain it. I do not know that family. I don't know the little girl, but it broke my heart. My son is around the same age in the next town over. I couldn't even fathom, or even, I don't have words to even put in to describe how I feel about that. My heart was broken. Nothing else. My heart was broken. So that's going to be my cat. If you see, yep, you see him. So the following day, on June 4th, another article hit, and it came through Fox News, which is one of our local news stations here. And I can't even describe what I felt reading the article and the way that my heart breaks thinking about that article. I didn't think that was possible, like that story. I was like, there's got to be some explanation behind it. So I live right next, within a half a mile from Jefferson County Courthouse. And like I said, I do a little bit of research on the side, and I give content creators like timelines, research, and backup and all that good stuff. So I was like, you know what? I got to understand what was behind this situation and why this little girl at 16 died of alcohol poisoning. Like, I have to fucking know. There's got to be some kind of explanation behind it. So I went ahead and I did a FOIA request on the full arrest affidavit for Gretchen Ryan, and I read it. Like I said, I started the series thinking it was going to be 3 to 5 parts. I was going to get through it, be said, be done. I was fucking wrong. It's taking me, I'm still not finished, 2 weeks in, and I have to take breaks from it. My heart hurts, and it's hard to be able to read this, but I want anyone who wants to know what really happened and what the police know, I want you guys to know. Point blank. I want everybody to really understand the situation that Gretchen put Grace in. She isolated Grace from her peers, her family, even her family within her household, her siblings. She isolated her and gave her alcohol. For why? I'm still trying to find the reason too, but there are many reasons that Gretchen just gave her daughter alcohol. There's 25 pages of Gretchen giving her daughter alcohol. There's 25 pages of Gretchen giving her daughter alcohol and saying it's wrong, but continuing to give her daughter alcohol. Gretchen hiding it from everybody around Grace, okay? Grace was 16 years old, didn't go to school. That's because of the addiction that her mother helped her get into. So reading this affidavit, my opinion is that Gretchen isolated Grace because Gretchen was a raging alcoholic, and other members in Gretchen's household, like her husband, was not a raging alcoholic, as through this affidavit shows, and Gretchen had nobody to drink with. So Gretchen drank with her daughter and turned her 16-year-old daughter into an alcoholic starting at the age of 15. There is no other explanation. There's nothing to be nice or soft about. These are the facts. These are the facts. That is fucked up and so wrong. Gretchen Ryan is where she's supposed to be. And like I said, I hope that you get life without parole, point blank. We don't have the death penalty, and you don't deserve the death penalty. You don't deserve a way out of this situation. You knowingly put your daughter, 25 pages, knowingly put your daughter through this. You put Grace, a beautiful 16-year-old little girl that had her whole life ahead of her. She should have been going to school with her peers. She should have been worried about homecoming and proms and stuff like that, not the next bottle of vodka that came from her mother, because her mother was a raging alcoholic and didn't have nobody to drink with. So here you go. That is the facts of the case. Point blank. I don't know what other way you can tell me. So reading that and being so pissed off, what am I going to do about it? Well, I thought about that, and I have reached out to a few people that I know within the sober community who are drug and rehab counselors, who actually own sober living houses and who have their credentials as counselors as well, to see what I can do, even if it's one scholarship, see what I can do myself or with an army and create a campaign or some kind of funding, see what I can do to fund teenage rehab. And not just teenage rehab. We don't want questions. We'll give them scholarships. I don't know how that's possible. I'm sure there's a way, and we just got to find the funding, and I got to find out how I can do that. Like I said, even if it's one, I'm willing to raise as much money as possible to get that one scholarship. But that's what I'm going to do. Is I've already reached out, and I'm waiting to hear back, and I will know within a few days the next steps that we can take. Sorry guys. The next steps that I can take or we can take that at least give me in the right direction of what we can do to help fund a teenage rehabilitation off of drugs and alcohol without parents being involved in stuff. This happened because Grace was scared to put her mother in jail, and Gretchen made sure that Grace knew the consequences of this. And the consequences was unfortunately what Grace thought they were, and she was scared of dying, and she died. A beautiful 16-year-old little girl that had her whole life ahead of her died at the hands of her mother, giving her alcohol and concealing it from everybody around her. She stopped hanging out with her friends. She stopped everything because she was drinking by the hands of her mother, giving her obscene amounts of vodka, delivering it, going and getting it, hiding it, going to the extent, it says in here that they went to the extent of hiding it in sheets. What the fuck, Gretchen? There is absolutely no justification for giving a minor nicotine, alcohol, marijuana. You're a piece of shit. Gretchen, what the fuck? There is absolutely no justification for the reason that Grace died, except for you're a piece of shit and you did that. You were the one who killed her. No one else. No one else is responsible. That is why you're in the jail and nobody else is. I'm just saying, Gretchen, you are held responsible for this, and I hope that you feel that with every breath that you take. There is no justification for this. This is child abuse. You knew it. You stated it. You knew you were doing wrong multiple fucking times. You're like, oh, I'm a piece of shit for doing this, but here you go. Here you go. Here's some more alcohol. Here you fucking go, Gretchen. There you go. You sit where you belong. All right? Bullshit. 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 It is bullshit. Grace Ryan was a beautiful 16-year-old little girl who didn't have a chance at the hands of her mother because her mother was a miserable alcoholic who had nobody else to drink with, and decided to turn her beautiful daughter, who you can't replace, Gretchen. You can't replace Grace. You took Grace from her father, her siblings, her family, her friends. You, Gretchen Ryan, were the only one who did that. You guys can leave me mean comments. The point blank facts are the facts, and that's all I'm trying to prove here. I am going to follow this case, and I'm going to deep dive into it. If you don't like what I have to say or how I have to say it, you are willing to not listen to it. But I do know that I'm going to do what I can to help get some kind of scholarship funding. Even if it's one will make a difference. I will do everything I can to make sure I get that going and find out what I have to do personally to get that fundraiser up and running properly. I don't want to just put up some fundraiser I don't know jack shit about. That's bullshit. So I'm going to actually do my research a little bit more and get up a real fundraiser that will really help teenagers get into the rehabilitation without any questions asked and get the help that they need, point blank. Like I said, if it's one person, one teenager, I made a difference, and I'm good with that. Gretchen Ryan, you're a piece of shit, and this should never have happened. Ever, ever. There is nothing that you can say to justify your actions. Have a good night.